Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with Breaking Bad. Last time on Breaking Bad, we had Greenlight. Let's see. What all happened last episode? I'm really trying to think of what happened. Well, we had the aftermath of I Fucked Ted, and Walt was going to go beat the hell out of Ted. He got thrown out of the Beneke workplace office building, I guess. And then Mr. Middleman came by, saved him because Saul knew what was happening with Beneke because he had the house tapped. And then Walt got angry about that. Jesse has cooked some new blue meth. It's not quite as up to Walt's standards, apparently. But he did make a deal, and it was sold to Gus. And he got the money, and, well, he got half the money, and Walt got the other half. And it seems like this may be what pushes Walt to get back into the business, because, honestly, he has nothing left. I believe last episode he also got fired from his job for sexual harassment. I don't know why I say it like that. It's so dumb. Sexual harassment is how you actually pronounce that. But yeah. Also, where are we? Well, actually, there's an easy explanation. We're still in the room. I have moved my desk to a different corner of the room, as you can see. You can probably still see, because of these, that you can get a feel for where we are in the room. But yeah, this week I'm having to record videos a bit differently. This is not going to be a normal thing, the new normal or anything. This is just a temporary little thing because not everything is perfectly set up here in the studio / office / bedroom. So yeah. So while I work on getting everything back to the way things were to an extent, we're going to be doing it like this. This is very odd because I'm not using my phone, I'm using my webcam. So I'm just looking into the webcam, but I can actually see myself over here on my computer. So, yeah, this is weird. Next episode, we won't be in this. We'll be back at the table and everything. But, yeah, this week only, we are going to be over here for these episodes. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. So we should probably go ahead and get right into this episode of Breaking Bad. Here we go. Hey, Walt.
I am awake.
Yeah, you are.
You are not how I remember you from class. I mean, like, not at all.
This is episode 1. Back when you had hair.
Buy the RV. We start tomorrow.
Oh, I forgot that. Yeah.
Would you ladies like to meet my fat stack?
So he went and spent Walt's money.
Supposed to use that dude's money to buy an RV.
I can hook you up, bro. I can totally get you an RV.
No, I need it today.
Pleasure doing business with you. Come on, we gotta bounce. For real, yo. Get it out of here.
Oh, okay. Why do we gotta bounce?
Does not have my permission.
Alls I know is I got half the money I'm due, and you got the rest.
Interesting.
Escalating.
You escalate this! My meth, my money! I will be a one-man glass factory. I will rock that RV 24/7.
Interesting. Yeah, before he was all about cutting him in, but then Walt blew up, so... Hank. Oh no. That's him! I thought it was him, like, on the scope.
Got a pack. Where you headed? Texas.
Oh no! He's going to El Paso instead. That makes sense. They needed an agent. They're taking him.
Turn it down. End of story.
Good. Good. Jesus, God knows I'm relieved.
Yeah, well, I needed some time here because I'm deep into this investigation and couldn't do both. I made a judgment call.
Please don't blow up at Marie.
I'm not doing some actual good out here, and all I get are these bullshit accusations. But everyone thinks I was jerking off on this thing? Fine. But I'm on something, I know it. You understand me?
Let it out.
You hear me?
Oh, she left. Aw, man. I hate seeing Hank this way.
His product was more or less consistent with the quality I'd come to expect.
Ooh.
More or less?
More or less.
More or less? Really?
Huh.
Oh, that is... talk about setting the bar low.
Damn, man.
Would you take a drive with me? I'd like to show you something.
Sure. Where are we going?
Are you sure you're okay?
Oh.
What is that? Come on.
She just wanted to talk because of Hank. That's right.
What about him?
Facing death, it changes a person. It has to, don't you think?
Yeah.
I guess you've noticed a change in Walt.
Man, Marie was right up front about that, too. Not like Skylar. Granted, it's a bit easier for Marie to talk than Skylar, given their situations. So this is where the magic happens, huh? Oh, is it? Oh, they have a secret place where the magic happens. Oh, that's so cool.
What is this? Your new lab.
Ooh. Should you choose to accept it. Whoa, look at it. That is quite the upgrade right there.
Quite a lot of planning went into this.
Huh.
I would say so.
Does he not normally have like a in-house
Laundry
cook?
upstairs. It will vent nothing but clean, odorless steam, just as a laundry does, and through the very same stacks.
Wow.
I need 200 pounds per week to make this economically viable.
Damn.
You would...
So he's still gonna say no?
Sorry. The answer is still no.
Why did you make these decisions?
For the good of my family?
Has that changed?
They weren't bad decisions.
Yeah.
When you have children, you always have family. They will always be your priority, your responsibility. And a man provides.
I mean, it makes sense.
And he does it.
It's like you've lost them, but you can still...
He does it. Because he's a man.
You can still protect them.
Can I be excused?
To do homework or to play video games?
I can multitask.
I know that. I did a group assignment over the phone while playing Pokemon. Those were the days. I had a flip phone and everything. It was probably back when this aired, honestly. I got a job offer.
You want to take her?
Really? He still has love for his children. They are what's important to him. Oh, shit, I think I've been misspelling Schrader this whole time.
Hey, Janice. Here. Know your enemy at all.
That's what they gave him.
That's a good fight, brother.
Well,
All
We got a
right.
drink around here.
He's still being a bro about it.
Our hunch was right. One more RV.
Uh-oh.
DMV said the registration wasn't renewed, but then they realized it was never filed as non-operational or destroyed.
Oh.
No police report either.
I bet you that's Jesse's. She gonna find the phone? Oh, she got the money. What's going on here?
And you say, tell him the truth. Tell him about his father. But I can't. Ever.
What's that going to solve?
How could I?
Just
From
shifts
this
the
man
monster
that
from
I'm
one
seeing,
person to the
you know,
next.
He's the father of my children. And maybe what he did,
He did it for the family, right?
This woman
Well, guess
does not
what?
care.
That is one enormous load of horseshit.
Damn.
I'm gonna spell this out as simply as I can for you. You are a fool to stay in that house 1 minute longer.
Damn.
If you, your children, you could lose everything you own. Do you understand?
Yeah, that's what Saul
All
said.
courtesy of this criminal you refuse to divorce.
I didn't marry a criminal.
Well, you're married to one now.
Yeah. And this woman is done with Skylar's shit. Well, the room's clean. Like, clear of any evidence he was sleeping in there. Walter H. White. Holy crap, they're divorced.
10% of all future profits from his solo venture. It's money you get paid for walking down to the mailbox.
Yeah.
Consider it a gesture of respect for your valuable contribution to the business thus far. I'm sure you'll agree that's fair.
That's pretty good.
Charity is what that is.
For Solo.
I do all the work. He sits around on his fat ass judging people.
Hey, escalating. I knew I could count on you boys to play nice. That almost brings a tear to my eye.
Enjoy it. Spend it in good health. That is the last money you'll ever earn in this business.
Oh, shit.
What the hell's that supposed to mean?
He took the job.
He needs me.
Yeah.
You telling me you're cooking again?
Yeah.
And he's cooking alone.
I'm in. You're out.
Damn, man, come on. You need him, though.
Cook whatever you like. As long as it's that ridiculous chili pea or some other dreck. But don't even think about using my formula.
Aw, come on.
He's trying to stop me. Bitch.
Can he sue? I don't think that works. Oh, shit. He's gonna kill him. Oh. Oh, the windshield again.
We're interested in an RV that's registered to your name and address. Do you have an RV?
I did. It was stolen months ago.
Stolen?
Stolen, huh?
Come on, Hank. I do kind of want him to get something. Jesse. Yeah, because he was taking pictures. Now he knows. Ah. Dedicated to their friend. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was episode 5. So, we're back. We're back, everyone. Now, I noticed the name of this episode is Mas. And the episode, the name of season 3, episode 1 was No Mas. And so I would assume, nose itches, I think that means, so episode 1 is when Walt says, no more, he's out. And this episode is like, alright, let's do more. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, another interesting episode. Definitely another interesting episode, and I definitely enjoyed it. We can go ahead and pop into the notes right here. The first thing I wrote down is RV origin. So that was pretty interesting, actually. We got to see the origins of how Jesse found his RV. And man, that does take me back, man. That does take me back to episode 1. It was back when Walt had hair and everything. You know, that was pretty crazy going back, because I haven't watched that. I haven't watched the first episode of Breaking Bad since 2016, you know, because of everything with how I've watched this series. So yeah, it was 2016 when I watched that first episode of Breaking Bad, so that really takes me back. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I do like, we get to see a bit more. I mean, we get, what are their names? The Combo and, was it Skinny Pete, I think? I think that was the name of the other guy. It was nice seeing them back after, you know, because Combo died last season, and I think Skinny Pete bounced. So that was pretty cool to get the two of them back. And yeah, just the origins of the RV. And it's like, okay, well, why do we need the origins of the RV? But it all ties around at the end, too. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That all ties in with, because I mean, as soon as we basically heard, you know, it's like, okay, well, you know, it's like, oh, the guy that sold the that traded the meth to the girl, you know, it's like, oh, he was driving an RV. We knew eventually that was going to bring Hank around to Jesse. So that paid off, definitely. So that's pretty cool. The next thing I wrote down is cut in. So that was interesting. So, okay, so Jesse, it makes sense that Jesse is pissed at Walt, you know, which technically this is all Walt's fault for, you know, going crazy about Jesse cooking his formula, you know, but because the whole thing was, okay, well, you know, Jesse made his own version of the formula, basically. Made his own version of the blue meth, and he followed it as close as he could, but it wasn't, you know, kind of like Gus said, it was more or less the same quality that Walt produces, basically. But back then, you know, last episode when we had that, you know, he was like, hey, you know, I made this, don't worry, I'm going to cut you in, you're going to get your half. But then Walt blows up about it, so when he makes the deal and, you know, only gets half the money, well, that shouldn't make any sense. If Walt is out on this, you know, on Jesse's version of the blue meth, then why should he get the other half of the cut? So that was pretty interesting that he would be pissed about that, you know. And it's also interesting, like, when they show at the end, you know, like, the whole thing with the fact that, you know, like, Jesse was still going to do something for Walt, you know? Like he was like, okay, Walt is out, Mr. White is out, I can't rely on him, I'm still going to cook my stuff, but you know what, just so I can get him off my ass, basically, I will give him 10% for doing nothing. I like what he says, you know, he just sits on his ass and judges people. And that's honestly kind of true, you know, you honestly get where Jesse is coming from on that. So I did like that, I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, even like after being pissed and wanting that half of the money back for that deal, he was still willing to give Walt 10% for not doing a thing, you know? So that was pretty cool. I wrote down Texas and Gomez. So that makes sense. I should have seen that coming, that because Hank denied El Paso, basically, it would make sense that they still need someone, you know? They still need a guy, so they would go to pretty much next in line would be Gomez. So that makes sense. It does kind of suck. It does kind of suck for Hank, and the thing is, you know, he's in denial about why he doesn't want to return to El Paso, you know? He's pretty much in denial that, you know, he just does not want to go back there. And he's trying, you know, he's really trying this excuse of, you know, the investigation he's still doing here in Albuquerque. So, yeah, so And I was curious, like, you know, I was kind of concerned, like, hey, is he going to blow up at Gomez, you know, for pretty much taking his job? But no, he didn't. He was still very respectful. He was like, hey, good luck out there. And he gave him the thing that they gave him in El Paso. It's like, hey, you know your enemy, you know? And so it was kind of more of just a somber sort of exit for Gomez. So, yeah, that was pretty interesting. I did like that. God, this is weird. This is still weird just being over here and doing all this. Oh, well. Let's see. The next thing I wrote down is Marie, on multiple occasions, actually. So first off was when Marie was talking to Hank. That was interesting, and, you know, she's trying to, you know, get him to talk about everything that's happened, but he won't say anything, you know? He will not say anything. And then, you know, that was actually very interesting, because I was thinking, like, okay, is he going to blow up at her or something? And to an extent, he kind of did, but pretty much, like, as he started to, like, really get into, you know, what he was saying, she just left, you know? She was just out of there, like, all right, you do your venting if you want to. So, that's pretty interesting. I do like that pretty much immediately Marie called Skylar and told her pretty much everything that's been happening, you know? And that's the thing, is that you can almost like see it in Skylar's face, is like, oh, she came to me and has told me everything, basically, and I haven't told her a damn thing. But again, you can sort of see it from Skylar's point of view, where it's like, okay, well, I can't say anything, you know? I can't really say anything, you know, because of all this, and we could, you know, now she's kind of an accessory and everything. But yeah, that was kind of interesting, just the fact that Marie pretty much instantly told Skylar everything that was happening. So that was interesting. I wrote down new lab and 200 pounds. So that was pretty cool, just seeing the new lab there. It makes me curious if Walt will have any help. Now, I also wonder, like, okay, so I'm trying to, like, figure out the inner workings of what Gus does, you know? So does he just, because he's not a manufacturer, he's just a distributor, basically. He's a dealer, I guess. But, you know, he's obviously a lot more professional than, like, Tuco, who we saw in the past. So he doesn't really, like, have anyone. I'm trying to figure this out. So he doesn't have anyone to manufacture, you know, cook, basically. He doesn't have any cooks. It seems like, from what they're saying, Walt is the first cook that he's actually just hired, you know? That he's given a specific lab to. Like, I would imagine he normally just takes from dealers themselves, who maybe they have their own labs, like Walt had the RV, but now he has actually gone out of his way to create a lab for his new cook, basically. I guess that's pretty much it. That's pretty cool, honestly. That is pretty cool that that he would do that for Walt. So I do like that, and, you know, even Walt was impressed. Like, hey, you know, he really got everything, you know. So I did like that. And yeah, so he needs to be making 200 pounds a week, which I think previously, I think, like with the when they were in the desert for 4 days, when they were cooking for those 4 straight days, I think they only made like 48 pounds, I think that's how much it was. So going from 48 in 4 days to 200 in 1 week, you know, that's only an extra 3 days. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I can see how he could do that, especially with this, you know, big new lab that he has. But at the same time, I am curious, like, okay, well, how exactly are you going to do this? Because it's like, you know, I don't know. That's pretty interesting, because, like, mainly my concern would be the fact that he's not going to have Jesse. And the fact is, he's always had Jesse to cook with. You know, we've had the first time that Jesse has made the formula without Walt, and it didn't work. You know, it's not as good as Walt would make it. So now I'm curious if the first time he tries to cook, it's going to be difficult without Jesse, and maybe that's how we get Jesse back in. Because there's got to be some way to bring Jesse back into this, you know? So yeah, we'll have to see. I wrote down lawyer and leave. That was interesting. This poor lawyer, you know, it's very obvious this lawyer is so done with Skylar's problems at this point, you know? Like, after everything she's heard, it's like, you know, she even just flat out says, you are a fool for not kicking him out, you know? And it's like, now you've become an accessory, you know? They could take all your stuff, you know? And that is exactly what Saul said from the beginning. Like, hey, if she blabs, they're out on the street, you know? So that was pretty interesting. That was pretty interesting with everything. And pretty much just, you know, kind of slapping some sense into Skylar. And even saying, like, hey, at the very least, you could leave. You could leave the house, you know? But you also understand, you do understand why Skylar doesn't do this, you know? Like, because she says, you know, my sister, my brother-in-law, my son, they call me a bitch, you know? Like, he calls me a bitch, and it's like, it's basically, you know, if, honestly, like, if she told Walter Jr. what Walt Sr. has been doing, then, honestly, it would only shift who the monster is, you know? Like, if, like, she's basically, like, taking the bullet for her son, where it's, you know, it's like, oh, she's just being, you know, some ungrateful bitch, rather than your father is a criminal, you know? It's like, you know, she could get out of everything that's happening with Walter Jr., but that comes at the cost of destroying this image he has of his father. So, to an extent, I do understand where she's coming from on that, you know? But then, big twist, Walt is out. Walt signed the divorce papers. He has completely moved out. And yeah, he is gone. He is gone because everything that he does, you know, he's been trying to save his family, keep his family, but his family is gone. You know, especially his wife is gone. And now he's saying, now it's pretty much, okay, yes, they have, you know, like, they are pretty much gone, but I can still protect them. I can still support them, you know? So now he's taking it a bit differently, whereas he was thinking, well, I can still do, you know, I can still protect them and support them while I'm there at home. But that doesn't work. Excuse me, jeez. So what he is now thinking is, okay, if I can't be there for them physically, but I can be there for them with the money. I can do much more for my family if I make these, if I make all the money, you know, and give it to them at the end. So yeah, that's pretty much what he's thinking. That's why he's moved out and signed the divorce papers. So yeah, he's a single man again. And that means, honestly, she is free to go live with Ted if she wants. Although I'm not really sure if that's really what she wants. We'll have to see. I wrote down Solo, a Star Wars story. No. So yeah, this note kind of works both ways. So Jesse was going to pretty much cut Walt out of everything, and he was going to go solo with making the blue formula. But he was still going to give Walt the 10%, which, again, is still very generous. For not doing any work, he still would have been paid for it. But Walt is now going solo with Gus, you know? He's going to cook solo, and he's cutting Jesse out completely. He's not even giving the 10%. And so, yeah, that's pretty interesting. I definitely feel like they're going to have to... He's going to have to figure out, like, a way to... They're going to have to figure out a way to make up, basically. Like, I get the feeling that it's not going to work. Like, the meth won't be as good without Jesse there as support. Maybe they'll even, like, you know, like, what I could see is, you know, like, Gus hires someone to be Walt's assistant, and they're just not good enough, you know, and then he goes back to Jesse. I could see that. That said, because I can sort of see how that could play out, I can also see how that's not going to be the case, but I would be curious as to what would happen then. So we'll have to see in the next couple episodes. Which I did also write down just to remind myself, 3M, 3 million for 3 months. Which, that is the interesting thing, is that, yeah, this isn't going to be like, you know, oh, well, Walt is going to be cooking for Gus for the rest of his life. It's like, well, no, he's going to be cooking for 3 months, 200 pounds a month, and it'll net him $3 million that he can leave to his family. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. And then the last thing I wrote down was Hank and Jesse, but we kind of already talked about that. We pretty much knew ever since he talked to the girl at the convenience store. We pretty much knew eventually he would make his way back to Jesse. It is interesting that it's taken him this long. Like, I feel like he should have immediately thought of Jesse, like, hey, drug dealer with an RV, that's probably the Pinkman kid, you know? I feel like he should have remembered that, but maybe I'm stretching there. So finally now we have that connect back to Jesse. So we'll have to see how that works out. And it'd also be interesting if, you know, if Jesse does go to work with Walt for Gus, could Gus then protect Jesse? You know, like, that would be kind of interesting, you know? But yeah, that is pretty much all I wrote down. Yeah, it was a really good episode. I incredibly enjoyed it, and I can't wait for next episode, especially because we'll be back at the desk. But this wasn't bad. This definitely wasn't bad. So, yeah, that is pretty much that. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Breaking Bad reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me at Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.